Welcome everyone to this explainer. Let's dive right into one of the most massive, continuous biological factories on Earth. We're talking about the human bone marrow. It is truly a marvel.
So, how exactly does the human body manage to replace billions of red blood cells? These little guys are absolutely vital for carrying oxygen to every single tissue, but they don't live forever. The secret to constantly replenishing them lies in an incredibly precise manufacturing process.
200 billion. That is the astonishing number of brand new red blood cells produced every single day, just to replace a typical daily turnover of 1%. It's a staggering level of non-stop production.
The formal name for this biological miracle? Erythropoiesis. It's the exact process of manufacturing new red blood cells right inside the red bone marrow. And it isn't instantaneous either. It is a highly regulated assembly line taking about 5 to 7 days from start to finish.
But how does the bone marrow actually know when to ramp up production? Well, it relies on a sort of factory manager, a specific chemical signal called erythropoietin, or EPO for short. This hormone is the crucial key that drives the whole assembly line forward. What creates the demand for this factory manager, EPO? Our bodies are constantly monitoring oxygen tension. If a drop is detected, whether that's from tissue hypoxia, some significant blood loss, or even just traveling to a high altitude where the air is thinner, it immediately triggers the release of EPO to accelerate production.
The really fascinating part is where this manager actually operates from. A staggering 90% of this vital EPO hormone isn't made in the bone marrow at all. Nope, it's produced by the peritubular cells of the kidneys. The kidneys essentially act as the body's highly sensitive oxygen sensors.
Knowing what gives the orders, let's step directly onto the factory floor. We're going to follow the amazing journey of a single cell as it matures through 6 distinct developmental stages.
This precise assembly line kicks off with the pro-erythroblast. Driven by that crucial EPO hormone we just talked about, the cell hits specific developmental milestones. It transforms through the basophilic, polychromatic, and orthochromatic stages, before becoming a reticulocyte and finally a fully mature erythrocyte. As the cell moves down this assembly line, the physical transformation is absolutely dramatic. It shrinks from a massive 20 micrometers down to just 7 or 8. Simultaneously, the color shifts from a deep basophilic blue into a uniform salmon pink. That color change is a clear indicator that the cell is successfully filling up with its main cargo, oxygen-carrying hemoglobin.
But the absolute most fascinating part of the entire process happens during the orthochromatic stage. The developing cell literally kicks its own nucleus right out to the curb. It completely ejects it just to make more room for oxygen cargo. Talk about dedication to the job, right? Throwing away the entire control center just to pack in more hemoglobin.
Contrasting the beginning and the end reveals just how incredible this transformation is. The massive nucleated starting cell becomes a tiny, highly efficient biconcave disc with no nucleus at all. And that unique biconcave shape really matters because it provides the physical flexibility needed to squeeze through the absolute tightest capillaries in the body.
With maturation complete, the freshly minted red blood cell is finally ready to leave the bone marrow factory. It deploys right into the vast circulatory system to begin its critical job.
But the factory process has one final quirk. That stage 5 cell, the reticulocyte, actually spends its first 1 to 2 days out in the bloodstream finishing up its maturation. It sheds the very last bits of its RNA before becoming a true, mature erythrocyte with a long journey ahead.
And that brings us to a very vital number, 120. That is exactly how many days a typical red blood cell circulates. After 120 days of relentless work, the exhausted cell is elegantly retired and recycled by the macrophages in the spleen. The body is the ultimate recycler, immediately salvaging the iron to be reused in the bone marrow factory all over again. To wrap up this explainer, let's consider a provocative final thought. If severe kidney disease prevents those specialized cells from producing EPO, how does the bone marrow know when to manufacture blood? It's a scenario that reveals just how delicately balanced and interconnected this biological feedback loop truly is. Thanks everyone for joining in, and keep exploring.